What if I told you that even after paying off your mortgage, you don't really own your home? Think about that. You worked, you sacrificed, you saved, and finally made the last payment. The bank is gone, the debt is cleared, and you should be free. But in New York, that freedom is a myth, because as long as your property taxes exist, the government always has the final claim. Let's get into it.
This is the Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones, brought to you by Black Westchester Magazine, where life, culture, community, and faith meet truth, power, and purpose.
All right. Peace and blessings, everybody. I'm Damon K. Jones, and welcome to the Publisher's Desk. And I'm Black Westchester Magazine, blackwestchester.com's publisher, Damon K. Jones. And today we have an exciting subject to talk about. What if I told you that even after paying your mortgage, you don't really own your home? Think about that. You worked, you sacrificed, you saved, and finally made the last payment on your mortgage. The bank is gone, the debt is cleared, and you should be free. But in New York, that freedom is a myth, because as long as you pay property taxes, the government can always have the final claim. Miss a payment, and the state can seize the very home you thought you have earned. And nowhere is clearer than Westchester County, the most heavily taxed place in the nation. The median property taxes in Westchester over $13,000 every single year. Families in Yonkers, New Rochelle, Tarrytown, they're being crushed under this burden. Zillow shows foreclosures popping up across the county. In Tarrytown, unpaid taxes were just sold on a lien auction. In Yonkers, if you fall behind, the city charges up to 12% interest. A small debt can turn into a financial quicksand that swallows everything you worked for. So let me ask, is that the American dream, or is it legalized extortion? Here's the truth, brothers and sisters. Property taxes make homeowners into permanent tenants of the government. And seniors, the very people who built these communities, are punished the most. Where property taxes is hurting New Yorkers and New York. Every single year, hundreds of thousands of people are packing up and leaving New York. In 2023 alone, nearly 480,000 residents moved out of state. That's almost 500,000 people in just 1 year. And even though some people moved in, the state still lost a net of nearly 180,000 residents. Think about that. New York is bleeding population. Families are voting with their feet because the cost of living and, yes, property taxes make it nearly impossible to stay. Now let's look at Black families. The trend is even more devastating. Over the last 2 decades, New York has lost between 176,000 to 200,000 Black residents, the equivalent of an entire city vanishing in New York. And here's the kicker. Black New Yorkers are leaving at a rate 50% higher than white New Yorkers. Why? Because the very families who fought to own homes, who tried to build generational wealth in New York, are being crushed under property taxes, foreclosures, and broken promises of opportunity. This isn't just a statistic. It means that churches are losing congregations, schools are losing students, businesses are losing customers, and neighborhoods are being hollowed out. The very people who built these communities are punished the most. They pay off mortgages after decades of hard work. but they can't escape the tax bill. On a fixed pension or Social Security check, a $10,000 to $14,000 annual tax sometimes is impossible to pay. Many lose their homes not to a bank, but to the government. And for Black families in New York, the injustice cuts even deeper. Historically locked out of fair housing markets, many brought in neighborhoods with slower growth and heavier taxes. Even when they manage to pay off their home, they're still hit with never-ending tax bills. Instead of passing down equity and wealth, too many are watching homes sold off at tax lien auctions. General wealth is gone, family stability is gone, and the cycle of poverty continues. Now tell me how this is fair. Now, defenders of the system say, well, the government needs revenue. But let's compare. Florida has 23.4 million residents, nearly 4 million more than New York's 19.9 million. Yet, Florida balances its budget every single year without state property taxes and without average property tax rate is 0.91%. In New York, it's almost double, 1.72%. And in cities like Mount Vernon, it has reached 3% and over through a mix of sales tax, tourism, and fees. And here's the kicker. Florida protects its homeowner with the homestead exemption, which caps how much your assessment can rise and shields seniors from being taxed out of their homes. Meanwhile, here in New York, with all the sky-high taxes, Albany is starting down a $34.3 billion budget shortfall through 2029, the biggest since 2008. If Florida can sustain more people with lower taxes and balance the books, then New York doesn't have a revenue problem. It has a spending problem. It has a political problem. So here's the real solution. Abolish property taxes, because only then can a family say with confidence, this house is mine in New York. Only then can seniors retire without fear of losing their homes. Only then we protect generational wealth and stop the exodus of families and businesses leaving New York. And skeptics will say, but how do we fund the schools? How do we fund services? The answer isn't to keep squeezing families, it's to restructure. Just like any other business, when it sees that the money going out does not equal the money going in, they have to restructure. What New York politicians and New York leaders have failed to do is actually restructure. We have to shift school spending to statewide revenue models based on income and consumption, close corporate loopholes that let developers off the hook while working families pay the bills, and cuts waste from bloated government budgets. What we can't keep doing is treating homeowners like permanent renters of their own property and expecting them to vote for us. And if you think it's only happening in wealthy suburbs, let's look at Mount Vernon, New York. The median home there is valued about $472,000, but the average property tax bill is around $13,766 every single year, more than $11,000 higher than the national median. The effective rate is around 3.21%. For working families and retirees, that's devastating. Even modest homes feel like they come with a second mortgage. And for what? Schools are still struggling, services are still underfunded, The city government keeps crying broke, and you got high crime and violence. Mount Vernon proves a point. The system is not just unfair, it's unsustainable. So let me ask you this. If paying off your house doesn't mean security, then what's the point of paying off your house at all? That's not freedom. That's not ownership. This is feudalism with modern paperwork. And until we can confront the moral failure of property taxes in New York, families will keep losing homes, seniors will keep being forced out, and community, especially Black communities in New York, will keep being hollowed out. And if we want real freedom, if we want true ownership, we have to push for property taxes in New York to stop. Now, if you found this breakdown eye-opening, then hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe for more conversations on politics, economics, and the future of our communities. Because here at Black Westchester, we're just not reporting the problem, we're pushing for solutions. So thank you for your time. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, and stay Blacktastic. Peace.
Tired of the same emotional politics that lead nowhere. Emotional Politics, Logical Failure by Damon K. Jones is the book Black America needs right now. It exposes the lies, challenges the gatekeepers, and calls for real strategy, not just symbolism. Power starts with truth. On sale, now, and available in audiobook on Amazon.
Tolerance is for Cowards by Damon K. Jones. This book is not anti-police, it's pro-community. Discover how the extended policing strategy empowers you to demand real public safety, justice, and accountability from your local police department. Because the Black community deserves good policing. On sale now on Amazon and Audible. Discover Jesus and Divine Black Masculinity by Damon K. Jones. This a bold blueprint to restore faith, manhood, and purpose in Black America. Because the Black community needs good Black men. Available now on Amazon. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like and share it with others who need to hear the truth. And for exclusive content and behind-the-scenes access, join the Black Westchester Magazine YouTube membership club today. Your support helps us keep independent Black media strong. Support independent Black media with style. Rock Black Westchester merch and represent the news with the Black point of view. Every purchase helps us speak truth to power.
This is the Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones, brought to you by Black Westchester Magazine, where life, culture, community, and faith meet truth, power, and purpose.